Wah.
Oh, hi. Welcome to Ghost Yawn. Today, I want to talk about Final Fantasy XVI. It's the latest entry in this long-running franchise, and the team behind it, Creative Business Unit 3, took it in an interesting direction to say the least. A lot of core changes were made that make this Final Fantasy stand apart from its predecessors. The most notable shakeup is in its extreme departure from the combat system. Instead of a turn-based RPG system where you get to control a ton of hot anime boys, it's an action-focused hack and slash where you control one hot anime hunk and his hot anime good boy. Like most people, I played the demo and was like, wow, this game is amazing. Square Enix is back, baby! And then promptly gave them my money for a deluxe edition. I gotta get something off my chest. I have never completed a Final Fantasy game in its entirety. Until now, that is. Because of this, I wouldn't say I qualify as a true fan of the series. My history with the Final Fantasy series is as such. I bought a copy of Final Fantasy VII in high school, played for like an hour before deciding I didn't like it, and sold it to GameStop for $6. Then I bought it again 5 years later and played up till near the end of the Don Corneo section before losing interest. I then bought a copy of Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X-2 and played each for about an hour before shelving them to my backlog for about 14 years, still counting. I own a copy of Final Fantasy IX but have never popped the discs into my PlayStation. In 2020, I was lucky to pick up a PS5 a little after launch. Now, I never owned a PS4, so I took to catching up on some big exclusives like Final Fantasy VII Remake. I played up to right around the Don Machio section before moving on to something else. I guess I just don't like Don Corneo. In 2023, I bought a copy of Final Fantasy XVI, and, you guys aren't going to believe this, I completed the entire game from start to finish. The game has been on my mind a lot since then. In fact, it's what inspired me to start a YouTube channel so I can talk about it. There's a lot to dissect, but a couple things first. Number 1. This is a spoiler review. I'm going to be spoiling the ever-loving ether out of this game. I'll be talking about the main story, the side quests, and both DLCs, so I recommend you at least play the game and its DLC before watching the video. I'll be talking about story bits as they happen, so there won't be a spoiler section in the video. You have been warned. Number 2. Given my track record, I don't think I can speak to this game from the perspective of a Final Fantasy fan. So what I'll be doing instead is exploring how this feels to play as a hack and slash and adventure game. Because at the end of the day, an RPG this is not, despite the 2 words that come before the huge Roman numerals. So with that said, let's talk Final Fantasy XVI. Welcome to Valisthea. It's a world filled with lush forests, soft skies, dusty deserts, and crystal clear waters. But above all else, it's a world driven by the existence of mother crystals. These colossal landmarks are packed with ether, the source of all magic within Valisthea. You can mine smaller chunks for more practical, everyday use. As such, they are an incredibly valuable asset to whomever owns one. There's a scramble between different nations to monopolize even one of these crystalline gold mines. Now, there is an alternative ether source other than crystals, and that source comes in the form of people naturally born with the ability to use magics, or, as this world calls them, bearers. Contrary to what one might think, bearers are not viewed with respect. They're essentially just tools that society uses to carry out the function of a crystal. But their magic is limited as each use is tied to a bit of their life force. Use a little too much magic and a bearer will start to deteriorate. In the end, there is no replacement for the real thing. And so, the race to dominate mother crystals remains the top priority for anyone wanting a steady flow of ether. There are 5 active mother crystals, each controlled by a different power. There's Drake's Head, controlled by Sambrek, Drake's Fang, controlled by the Dhalmekian Republic, Drake's Tail, controlled by the Crystalline Dominion, Drake's Spine, controlled by the Kingdom of Wallode, and Drake's Breath, controlled by the Iron Kingdom. Naturally, we'll be visiting each location as we journey through the story. And speaking of journey, this is where ours begins.
And thus did our journey begin.
Oh, damn! They're not wasting any time jumping into the action. We've already got a fight between two giant monsters, and oh, they're pulling at two towers! Get off! The game starts out with what it calls an eikon battle. These are clashes between colossal elemental beings that harbor incredible might and magic. In this case, we control the Phoenix, fighting against the Balrog of Mordor. Against some mysterious hulking flame monster. Anyways, this fight doesn't last long because it turns out it was just our main character, zoning out and having Godzilla battles in his head. We see that we're not alone though. There are a few men accompanying us. Turns out, we're out here looking to kill someone. A dominant. Specifically,
Shiva's dominant.
What's a dominant? You may be asking. We'll get to that a little bit later. For now, I just want you to remember this mark. Well, enough roasting marshmallows around the campfire and whatnot. Looks like it's time to get to work. I gotta say, the game looks real good. I mean, the fidelity, the details on clothing, the lighting, it all looks so polished.
Focus, Wyvern. You are key to this mission's success.
We learn that our name is Wyvern, and we now get to take control of him.
I said focus, Wyvern!
Alright, don't get your armor in a bunch. I'm coming. We get to the top here and see a battle taking place. You're gonna be hearing me say this a lot, but god damn! The cinematics look so good! This is a pre-rendered cutscene, and anything that's pre-rendered in this game always looks spectacular. I want to introduce a handy feature in Final Fantasy XVI. If you notice in the bottom right, there's something called the Active Time Lore. You can bring it up pretty much at any time by holding down the touchpad. It's a way to get refreshed on people, places, terms, etc. related to the current scenario. Like, check this out. Remember the mark I told you to keep in mind? Well, look here. We can read up on it in this Active Time Lore. It's a symbol that marks bearers as slaves. Or check this out. The ragtag party we're a part of is called the Bastards, which sounds so cool. I found this feature to be very helpful, as the game is extremely heavy with all kinds of information, and it just helps to set the context if you end up forgetting or get things mixed up. The game changes focus for a sec though, and we get our first taste of Final Fantasy XVI's politics. What we witnessed before is a battle against the Dhalmekian Republic and the Ironblood Kingdom, and now we're in a meeting with the Dhalmekian Republic and the Kingdom of Wallode. This old dude is mad because Wallode won't aid the Dhalmekian Republic in this battle against the Iron Kingdom, and they getting they ass beat. The Ironbloods have apparently also found a dominant of their own, presumably Shiva, which spells trouble for the Republic. So, what exactly is a dominant? Dominants are people blessed by the power of eikons. Remember the Phoenix from earlier? They can tap into their power and even transform into their fully realized form. And wouldn't you know it, we have a handful of dominants gathered right here. This guy here is Barnabas. He's the king of Wallode and dominant of Odin. Sleipnir here is his right-hand man. This beautiful buxom babe is Benedikta and works under Barnabas, in more recent one.
I think you know what I mean.
She's also the dominant of Garuda. And the giant tank in the background is Hugo Kupka, Dhalmekia's economic advisor. He controls the power of Titan. Side note, I love seeing people actually using the crystals for things like filling up a cup with more water. So, Kupka reassures Whitey that he won't let the Republic fall, acts like a jackass, and promptly leaves for the battlefield. But wait, Benedikta follows after him?
You cock.
I beg your pardon? Whoa. I think his dominant is rising. They're really enjoying each other's company. Although, it looks like it may just be one-sided. Been there, buddy. This is gonna hurt later. We cut back to the Bastards, who take advantage of the increasing chaos and make their move. I gotta say, I really like these guys. Their outfits are cool, their mission feels important, and it feels like they have a large role to play. I can't wait to spend time getting to know them. Like before, they head out ahead of us and we catch up with the group in a short while. The leader makes us take the lead, but Wyvern feels something is off and takes caution. Oh, snap! That was a close one.
Titan.
It's Titan! And by the looks of it, Shiva too. Come on, boys, it's time to go! The beginning of this game has so many good cutscenes, and this fight between Shiva and Titan is one of the highlights. Not only is it flashy, but you get a sense of their scale to one another and their fighting styles. For example, Shiva favors ranged attacks since she can charge ice crystals and shoot them out of her palm. Titan just uses pure raw strength. The icon designs are fantastic. Shiva I especially love. Her clothes, cape, crown, and golden hair adornments make her look so regal. Her expressions are subdued, yet convey what feels like an unspoken sadness. Titan is just a terrifying menace. Oh shoot, oh shoot, oh shoot, oh shoot! Fighting between Shiva and Titan is so intense that it's causing the region to crumble. This is actually one of my favorite parts because you get to see both icons duking it out in the background while you have to traverse the destruction they lay out before you. We finally catch up with one of our teammates and take a moment to catch our breath. It appears that we've been split up, so the two of us make haste. Wyvern, who's apparently scared of heights, needs a little push to take the leap. What? He's already dead? Come on! One of our teammates bites the dust, and Wyvern here might possibly suffer from chronic main character syndrome. He's so knocked out that the leader has to drag him the rest of the way there, but not before confirming something for me.
I told you before, you do not get to die here.
I knew it! Wyvern can never die because he's got a raging case of main protagonist. This news is so surprising that Wyvern passes out.
Clive!
Hello?
Get up, Clive!
Who is this? Gad? Huh. It looks like our boy Wyvern. 13 summers ago? We got knocked out pretty hard. Like the game says, the next section takes place in the past. Specifically, in Rosalith, capital city of Rosaria. This is where Clive, who we currently know as Wyvern, hails from. And it appears he's training for...
Well, if you're not cut out to be a shield, there's always work for you in the stables. Unless, of course, you think you can defend your master while sat on your arse in a puddle of pig swill.
We also meet some of the other cast members. This is Rodney Murdoch, Lord Commander of the Rosarian Army. Joshua, Clive's younger sibling. And Jill, childhood friend to both brothers. And of course, Torgal. Fun fact, if you've played A Plague Tale, you might recognize Joshua and Jill's voices.
Go on, you're sure to hit him eventually.
Don't give up now!
They're voiced by the same actors who played Hugo and Amicia.
Oh, look, a swing!
Ours at home was always broken.
You go! I'll push you!
Really? You don't want to go yourself?
Alright, it's finally time to get a taste of Final Fantasy XVI's combat. We're thrusted into a tutorial section where we'll learn the basics. You can execute melee attacks using the square button. These can be chained up to 4 times. We have a ranged option in the form of magic blasts that we can unleash using the triangle button.
You wield the Firebird's flames just as a first shield should.
You flatter me, my lord.
Or would you rather I flattened you?
Time for your flattening.
Can be arranged.
You wanna what now? I think I'll pass. Next is learning how to dodge. If you time it at the right moment, you can perform a precision dodge. That will give you a small window to counterattack. Each icon also has a unique iconic feat, which is an ability tied to the circle button. In the case of the Phoenix, it's a dash that closes the gap on enemies. You can also use potions to recover health by pressing up or right on the D-pad. The last thing in this tutorial is the will gauge. Put enough pressure on an enemy and you can get them in a staggered state to enact some punishment. Or you can unleash your iconic abilities with R2 and either square or triangle. Alright, that's enough training. It's time to take everything we've learned and flatten him!
Not quite.
tools at my...
After putting down the medieval beatdown on our mentor, Clive is officially a shield.
You are a true shield of the flame, and let no one tell you otherwise. Including me.
A shield, by the way, is a special guard that protects the Phoenix. Victory is sweet, but it took a lot out of Clive. Being blessed with the power of the Phoenix, Joshua uses some of his magic to heal Clive's wounds. However, Clive tells him not to waste his gift.
It isn't a waste. My shields look after me. Why shouldn't I?
That's why.
Despite having the power of the Phoenix, Joshua also appears to have an illness. He doesn't let that get his spirits down, though. Although this next part might.
Your Grace, please, this is no place for one such as you.
I would gladly brave hell itself to see my darling boy.
Ugh, this is Annabella, Clive and Joshua's mother, and she is such a rat. As you probably noticed, the blessing of the Phoenix skipped Clive and went straight to Joshua. Because of this, she considers Clive to be a failure and gives all her love to Joshua instead.
Good day to you, Mother.
Wow, talk about cold. She's just awful. I mean, who talks like this? She looks like she's trying not to smell a fart for Founder's sake. Her terrible parenting, however, only seems to make the brothers' bond stronger. I love this whole sequence though, because a lot of conversations are had just by exchanging looks. The way Annabella looks on Clive with utter disdain, without even speaking a word, cuts deep. You can see Jill telling Clive, "I'm sorry, that was rough," and Clive brushing it off with a, "It's fine." The directing in Final Fantasy XVI is fantastic. After that critical hit, Clive and Jill follow behind to go join the others. This is Eldwin Rosfield, the Archduke of Rosaria and father to Clive and Joshua. And he's the much better half of Annabella. He tells Clive that war is brewing, and to meet him in the throne room. Clive does a little slabadatung.
Yes, Father. Your Grace.
And Eldwin responds with an affectionate bro punch. Now we make our way to the throne room, but before we do that, we get to explore! In Final Fantasy XVI, you'll come across items in the form of glowing blue objects. Walk close enough to one, and the game auto picks it up for you. We just picked up a potion. Great. Anything here? Nope. How about here? Whoa! Watch it, Jill! Is there, anything to find? Oh, a side entrance. Maybe there's a secret. Let's talk to this guy.
Nothing down there but rats and rogues, my lord.
Well, it's just the beginning of the game. I'm sure exploration gets better later on. We trigger a short cutscene here and get our first real look at a bearer.
Good as new.
Forgive me, Lord Marquess, pray do not concern yourself with this bungling cur. Bow to him, you fool. Did I say to speak?
They're a meek people, as they're lowest on the human hierarchy in Valisthea. Clive, however, doesn't seem to care about any of that, and instead tries to share some kind words.
Stand, please. I trust his good fortune will continue.
Of course, if that is your lordship's wish.
Don't work too hard. Remember, it is for the good of the duchy that you serve.
This boosts the bearer's spirits, and is a foreshadowing to the type of work Clive will eventually get into. Alright, we made it. Let's see what all the buzz about war is.
You commanded my presence, Your Grace. How may I serve you?
All right, you can stop licking my boots. Your mother isn't here.
Such a cool bro! Clive's father tells us that something called the Blight is spreading fast. It's gobbled up the northern Rosarian territories and is soon to come a knocking on Rosalith's door.
By the flames.
Clive is, unsurprisingly, shocked to hear this. Now, in the days of yore, Rosaria used to have their own mother crystal, Drake's Breath, before getting it taken from them by the Iron Kingdom. Right, those guys. Eldwin wants to take it back so they have a chance against the Blight. So, in preparation for the fight, Rosaria's artillery is to visit a place called Phoenix Gate to listen to the words of their ancestors. Before we go with the others, Eldwin wants Clive to take care of something first. There's been some news of goblins residing in a piece of Rosarian territory called the Stillwind Marshes. Our task is to evict them for good.
It is time to prove your strength. And shut your mother up for good.
Ah, he's such a bro! Alright, let's go take a break. While we're resting up, Eldwin and Annabella have a heart-to-heart.
And you will be taking Joshua?
Well, I can't exactly leave him behind, can I? Before going to war, we perform the rite at Phoenix Gate. It's our way, and only the dominant can enter the apothecary, so yes, I'm taking Joshua.
Oh, to hell with your way! The boy is ill.
You think I don't know that?
Eldwin reassures her that Clive will protect Joshua, but she ain't buying it.
Don't worry. Clive will watch over him.
You see more in him than the Phoenix did. He was rejected, Elwyn.
And cements herself as the worst parent of the year of the realm. Meanwhile, in another part of the castle, Clive and Jill share a moment together.
Wishing on a star?
I'm a little old for that.
This scene is important for two reasons. One, it introduces the red star that sits just below the moon, Media. Jill prays to it every time she wishes for Clive's safe return. And two, it shows us the true nature of how Clive and Jill really feel towards one another. They're just young. And love is hard when you're young. Don't worry, it gets better. Morning! It's the next morning! Everyone's gearing up to go to Phoenix Gate.
Enough.
They march on ahead of us, and here we meet Sir Wade and Sir Tyler. I always thought Sir Wade looked like Kime from the Drakengard series. With our party formed, we make our way to Stillwind. It's a marsh-like area filled with naught but trees and rocks, but the atmosphere, combined with the music, is oddly relaxing and peaceful.
It's hard to believe that anyone used to live here.
The old village of Stillwind is ahead. Not that there's a lot left of it.
2 gil? That's it? Who leaves a measly 2 gil on the ground? What? Oh. Looks like our intel was good. You boys ready? Kime! Oh, you've done it now.
With me.
All right, it's time to kick some goblin ass. Oh, okay. You can add more will damage by using magic in between melee attacks. Take it! Take it! Take it! Good hit, Sir Tyler. Okay, moving on.
Welcome to Stillwind. Of Caer, my lord.
Ah, more goblins.
There's more.
Ooh, am I about to evict your ass?
And stay down! Down with you!
1 gil? Alright, that takes care of them. I want to take a moment to talk about exploration. It's pretty much linear with not much to find. You do sometimes find small areas where you might find an item, but it's usually just a potion or tonic. On a rare occasion, you might even have to interact with the environment. Side note, I never found these hold R2 interactions all that immersive. There's gotta be more creative ways to utilize the DualSense, right? We continue to journey in and eventually run into an open area. We found the leader. All we have to do is take out its little minions to get to it. This is where we're introduced to a new enemy type, magic users. They're essentially just an enemy that uses ranged attacks. It doesn't take much to bring them down. And last one. The goblin leader is mad, but it doesn't look like it's giving up yet. It calls in some extra muscle, and we're introduced to what the game calls a formidable foe, or just a mini-boss. We'll have to use everything in our arsenal to take them down effectively. For these tougher enemies, we can also take advantage of a partial stagger state that triggers when you whittle down their will to 50%. This gives you a little window to land some extra hits. We put down the Gigas for good, and all that's left is the leader. In an act of desperation, it flees, and we chase after it with haste. We eventually cornered into a dead end. There's nowhere to run, little guy.
What are you doing in my swamp?
Bloody hell!
Oh boy, we've got a bigger problem on our hands. This fight is a bit more challenging than the Gigas, and it showcases the strength of Final Fantasy XVI's combat, the boss battles. In contrast to the mobs of enemies you just mindlessly cut down, boss battles require a little more tact. You need to be careful about avoiding a variety of attacks.
That from its mouth!
Your focus should be on bringing down their will to stack up the combos.
Where's it going? You don't!
We're introduced to another new mechanic called a cinematic strike. It's just a simple QuickTime event, but damn, if these aren't satisfying to execute and look at. There are variations to these events, like dodging or mashing the square button, but the result is always the same. You do something flashy, and either inflict or avoid damage. After some effort, we slay the mortal. Hearing that classic victory fanfare with a choir is
Something else. Sign of us.
With the swamp cleared and our business finished, we head over to Phoenix Gate. Finally, we've caught up with the others, and Sir Wade is already getting wild. He shares the tale of the trio chasing down the goblin leader and facing a Morble.
His lordship draws his sword. The goblin chief runs off screaming, straight down a Morble's gullet!
The men are all having a good time. Although the mood is fun and rowdy, Joshua isn't really feeling it and leaves the dinner hall. He was looking for Clive, who was outside by himself, and the two brothers share some laughs.
So this is where you've been hiding.
What are you doing out here?
I didn't see you at the feast.
Feasts are the only time shields are allowed to take their ease, and I've never really been one for cakes and ale.
It's the vegetables I don't like.
We also get a little more backstory on Clive and why he's so keen to prove himself with the sword.
I hear you slew a Morble. All the men were singing your praises.
They never used to. When I joined the ranks, everyone thought I was a spoilt little lordling. If I didn't know how to handle a sword, I'd be a laughingstock. The Archduke's firstborn failure.
He also reveals that he's at least a little miffed that the power of the Phoenix skipped him. Joshua says it isn't fair and that it should have been Clive. He's also unsure of his role as the Phoenix, feeling that people believe in the Eikon's power, but not in Joshua. Apparently, dominants have the ability to lend their power to others, allowing them to utilize the magics of Eikons as well. This is why Clive is able to wield the power of the Phoenix. Clive speaks to Joshua about the duty placed on their family from generations ago, that in Rosaria, it was determined for the Phoenix to be seated as the Archduke and save its people in times of crisis. And as such, it is the dominant's duty to serve its country. Joshua still worries about Clive's destiny, and Clive, being the big brother that he is, assures Joshua that all is in its rightful place, and that Joshua was born to be the Phoenix's dominant, and Clive, Joshua's shield. Later that night at the gates of the castle walls, there's a delivery of goods being made. Everything appears to be fine, so they go ahead and let them in.
Oh, no!
Uh-oh, imposters are among the Rosarians. There is some very big foul play at work here. These spies let in some knights from another faction. Something really bad is about to go down. We cut to a sleeping Joshua who wakes from the sounds of distant fighting. He gets up and lights a candle using his phoenix powers. Now that he's shaken off the sleepies, he starts to notice something is off.
Is that?
That's right, it's the smell of fire. He's getting ready when Sir Wade bursts through the door.
Forgive me, my prince. It's me, Wade. We're under attack. I don't know who they are, but they've set light to half the castle. I must get you to safety, your highness.
So, the two of them head out. Wait, no way. Could it be? Oh, what? We get to play as Joshua? The lighting is so good. The way the fireball illuminates its surroundings and casts shadows looks phenomenal.
Are the enemy already inside the castle?
I'm afraid so, your highness. We must hurry.
So, we hurry. Only to find an enemy amidst smoke and destruction. And we get to fight too? I won't dress it up. It's honestly not that mind-blowing. Joshua has one melee attack and one ranged fire blast, and you can't combo. You can also cast Kiraga on yourself, but you won't ever really need it unless you hand the controller over to your younger sibling. Wade recognizes the enemy as Sambrek, who are supposed to be on good terms with Rosalith. Our time with Joshua is running short, so let's enjoy one more fight.
I have the dominant.
I love how he gets stuckered out after using a fireball. We run into a gravely wounded Sir Tyler, who is unable to get up, and Joshua uses some of his phoenix magic to help heal his wounds.
Joshua! I told you not to waste it!
We're reunited with Clive, and soon after, Daddy Elwyn and Mr. Murdoch as well. Now that they're back together, the Rossfields make for the back gate, where Eldwin sends for help to the capital via Stolas.
Omnia lost Alan, Twisa Gelif. May the winds speed you to Rosalith.
I love how Joshua's first instinct is to cling to Clive. Clive urges his father to take Joshua to safety, while he and the others stay behind to slow the enemy down. Joshua, understandably, is reluctant and says he's not leaving without his brother. Clive repeats his spiel about doing your duty, which Joshua weakly acknowledges, and also tells Joshua that he must protect their father. They part ways, and we take control of Clive again, with Lord Murdoch as our party member. We go to the dining hall and lay waste to the enemies there. Eventually, we make it to an inner courtyard where a squad is finishing off some of our comrades. Oh, you think this is your castle? That's where you're wrong.
Occupied.
There's still one more enemy remaining though.
Clive, look out!
May I have this dance?
He's an Imperial Dragoon.
And you are the shield who was blessed by the Phoenix. Not that it will save you.
As Clive points out, we fight against a Dragoon Knight. They're characterized by their jumping attacks where they leap high in the sky and come crashing down. We make paste out of him in no time.
To Sambrek.
The two catch a breather and take a moment to assess their situation. Lord Murdoch recognizes a sash on the Dragoon that they gave out just yesterday in Rosalith, meaning that the traitors are well within their ranks and that Joshua and Eldwin are in great danger. They hurry to reach them in time. Clive, however, experiences some kind of vision or hallucination. He sees a hooded man speaking to him before disappearing completely. We cut to Team B. Eldwin and Joshua prepare to ride to Rosalith and gather their forces. It's too late, however. The traders move in on the Ross fields and reveal they've intercepted the Stolas Eldwin sent earlier. Joshua attempts to fight, but Eldwin pushes him back. A soldier takes the opportunity to end Eldwin. A shocked Joshua is left speechless on the ground, recalling all the moments Clive and Eldwin placed their expectations, hopes, and support in him. The failure to protect their father is too much, and it pushes Joshua to the brink. He transforms into the Phoenix, and we get to see one of the coolest transformations in the game.
Kill him! Now! Eikon! Phoenix.
Clive and Lord Murdoch take notice of the Phoenix appearing in the sky. In a blind rage, it looks like it doesn't distinguish friend from foe, and Clive calls out to Joshua to stop. He recognizes that Joshua has lost control and tries to get close to him. Some rubble is tossed in his direction, and he almost gets smushed. He's saved at the last moment by none other than his own chocobo, Ambrosia, who has suffered a big injury. Clive urges Lord Murdoch to run with Ambrosia and continues to try and reach Joshua. All of a sudden, he's hit with a massive head pain that leaves him unable to act. Just then, he sees a being of fire appear in front of him before erupting into a fiery blaze.
Second icon of fire. That's impossible.
Start? I don't feel so good.
A second icon of fire has appeared. But how? We'll have to figure that out later because we're back in a familiar scenario. This time around though, we get a look into Joshua's thoughts.
Who are you? Leave me alone! Leave me alone!
Okay, so we get to actually have a real icon fight. You can tell because we now have health bars. This one plays like a real shooter. You move the reticle with the left stick and shoot with triangle. You can also dodge with R1. I wouldn't say this part is challenging, but you do have to pay attention to what you're doing because the other icon can deal a good amount of damage. And you do want to be landing hits because you will reach a point where if you haven't dealt enough damage, it's game over. At this point, the second icon of fire starts to charge an insta-kill move. You better land all your hits or you're a donezo. What? I killed him!
My flames may flicker, but they shall never die!
Oh, right, because he's the Phoenix. That wasn't enough to put him down though, so the fight continues. Joshua unleashes a beam of fire, but it's still not enough to kill this guy. This next part is just brutal.
No! Stop it! Take your hands off my brother!
Help me! Help me, Clive!
Murderer. I'll kill you! I'll fucking kill you!
Wow. The next morning, we see some Imperial soldiers check the aftermath.
Oh, my condolences, Your Grace. Is there aught we can do?
Aw, no, not this trash. She did it?
Joshua was my world. And now he is gone.
It was your fault. Clive has survived somehow, although he may wish he didn't. Instead of killing him, Annabella decides to recruit him into the Imperial front lines. And, well, we know how he ends up.
Chin up, lad. You're going to be a soldier.
Joshua.
Final Fantasy 16. Damn, what an intro. This has to be one of my favorite opening sequences to a game. The setup, the music, characters, cinematography, visuals, the icons, it all melts together into a truly exquisite package that gets my interest for the rest of the game peaked. If you played the demo before the game's full release, this is where it ends, and where I promptly placed a pre-order for a physical copy. That was a hefty intro. Let's dive into the rest of the game. Wow, what a crazy dream! We're now back in the present just after we passed out. According to our teammate, the Ironblood Kingdom has begun to retreat. The leader issues an order to follow after them, but Clive isn't really feeling it.
If we return without Shiva's head, our fate will be no different from Beast's. I'll take my chances with the Ironblood. At least then I might die fighting.
Well said.
After you do, that is.
Oh, you're a real piece of trash, aren't you? We get a notice here saying we have new iconic abilities. Let me spend a little time going over this. Under the Abilities tab, we're able to spend points to learn and upgrade abilities. There are general abilities like being able to use a long-range Stinger melee attack or unlocking an air combo. In addition, you can unlock new iconic abilities. Each icon has 3 specials, 1 ultimate, and 1 iconic feat. We continue our pursuit of Shiva's Dominant. Her little scuffle with Titan did quite some damage in the region. Visually, it looks so cool seeing spikes of earth and ice shooting out of the ground, reminding everyone of an Eikon's power. After some trekking, we finally find us some Ironbloods. Our teammate is convinced that Shiva's Dominant is amongst the group. He follows up with an interesting cultural tidbit about the Ironbloods.
Our fortunes have turned, Sergeant. It's her.
The Dominant? Are you certain?
The Crystalline Orthodox is a backwards faith for a backwards people. In the Iron Kingdom, they teach that dominants are unclean aberrations, born of blackest sin. Only their priests are allowed to perform the rites of priming, and I see many.
We end this quickly.
It's finally time to do what we came here to do.
Please.
Data must be idle.
Jeez, all you have to do is ask, dude.
What alvation naukin Alad Scully asked.
So it looks like she's used a lot of her power transforming. Nice. We'll take her on in a sword fight. She's an easy battle, but she's still got some moves up her robe. She can dodge, shoot sparks of ice, unleash ice from the ground, execute a dash move, do a heavy melee attack, send forward a line of ice spikes from the sky, and lastly, unleash a rain of tiny icebergs.
Stop gawping and move.
Love that as you whittle down her health, she uses stronger versions of her attacks, and she starts to get more aggressive. It's another strength of the boss battles in Final Fantasy XVI, as you'll find that you can't necessarily just button mash to rush through fights. Especially on later bosses, you'll need to dedicate some focus. At last, we defeat Shiva's Dominant. Shiva, I guess. Clive checks to see if she's dead. Amazingly, she's still alive, if just barely. His teammates rush him to complete the kill. Just as he's about to, something about the Dominant is familiar. Oh snap! It's Jill! Clive's teammate loses patience and pushes him aside to do it himself. He's promptly disposed of, and the remaining 3 of them are surrounded. Clive's first instinct is to pick up Jill and put her out of harm's way. He and the leader then get rid of all the Ironbloods. For the last time, the leader tells Clive to finish the job, and Clive refuses. Then he follows up with one of the most badass lines.
You would betray the Holy Empire? Betray? I don't recall ever pledging allegiance to your Emperor. My service may have been bought with this brand, but not my loyalty. I just fight to survive.
Ah, so badass. We now have to take him down. We're introduced to another fighting mechanic, parrying. When successful, time will slow down, allowing for some free hits. And if you use an iconic ability during this parry window, it will slightly lower the ability's cooldown. Well, he gets his wish and ends up succumbing to a blade on the battlefield rather than the Empire's. But wait, Clive technically works for the Empire, so it cancels out. Then again, Clive said his loyalty was never bought. The point is, he's dead, and we have bigger issues to tend to. Seeing as he's outnumbered and has a Jill to take care of, Clive accepts his fate. Whoa. What? Is that Torgal? And who dat? Here, we're introduced to Cidulphus Telemon, or Cid for short. After that light show, he tells us to follow him. And so we do, leaving this mess behind us. Benedikta seems to have been around. She gives her thoughts on the events that unfolded.
Hugo dear, my proud desert lion. Would that you had taken care when chasing the hare? I expected more from the mighty Titan.
She doesn't seem too impressed. It's not the size of the icon that matters, but how you use it. She spots some thunder and recognizes it as Cid's. They've presumably crossed paths before. They leave the area apparently having some work to attend to. We cut back to Jill, who is passed out. Clive still can't believe that it's her. And it seems he's yet to overcome his fear of cooties. It's okay, Clive. You'll get over them someday. Torgal is begging for Clive's attention, though.
And who's this fine hound I see before me?
A fine hound who saved your life, that's who.
Good lord, his voice is deep. Cid reveals to us that he knows who we are. He recognizes us by our Phoenix abilities. He assures us that he's not here for us. Rather, it appears he's come for Shiva's dominant. Why though? Cid takes a look at her and thinks it'd be best to take her back to his hideout. He tells his friend here to carry Jill, but Clive doesn't trust them and intervenes.
No! Oh. Not another step. I mean it.
Well, I'm not about to leave her here. Not one with a warm bed waiting. It's alright.
He tries again, and this time Clive stands aside. Cid says he'll explain everything later, and tells Clive he's welcome to tag along. Without much of a choice, Clive follows Cid. They pass along a desolate, rocky area dubbed the Deadlands. Cid says they're almost there, and a surprised Clive points out that they're in the middle of nowhere, to which Cid responds,
Keen eye, you. The blight sucked this place dry, meaning no trees, no birds, and no magic. But it also means no neighbors.
The last place anyone would think to look.
Smart. The 3 of them head in. This is the Hideaway. Clive is astounded by what he's seeing, as they seem to have set up camp in what's called a fallen ruin.
You must be starving. We grow them here, believe it or not. Suit yourself.
The director said eat the sample, so it makes you seem like even more of an asshole. Nah, I'm just playing. We're introduced to Tarja. She's the Hideaway's healer. Cid asks her to take a look at Jill. Then he heads off to his chambers and tells us we should look around. We could do that, but the game plants a big fat destination marker on the screen, so let's go see what that's about first. We enter Cid's chambers to find him writing a letter. He puts that on hold though to quote, "Solve the mystery of poor Clive Rosfield." He recounts Clive's situation. He's a bearer under the Sambrek Imperial Army sent behind enemy lines to rid the Ironblood Kingdom's dominant amidst the fighting. But he recognized the dominant and turned against his sergeant to save her life and run. Cid offers Clive a drink, and Clive asks what he's planning on doing with Jill, to which he responds,
"Do with her? Why nothing? Her life is her own now. If I wanted to use her, do you think I'd be talking to you? All I want to do is help. Dominants like her, branded like you. Of course, the realm doesn't approve, which is why we live in a cave."
Cid's mission is to release all bearers from the oppression they live under and give them a chance at life as a truly free individual. Not a small task to achieve, which is why he asks Clive for help. Clive says he can't, as he has something to take care of first. He means to avenge his brother for the night at Phoenix Gate. Cid sounds confused, and Clive explains that his brother was killed by a second icon of fire. Clive explains that he's thought about revenge for the past 13 years, but being put in forced servitude to Sambrek, he's been unable to act on it. Clive acknowledges that with a target painted above his head as a deserter, he won't stay out of the Empire's sights for long, which is why he thinks now is the best chance he'll ever get to look for his brother's killer, and he has accepted that this will be a journey ending in his demise. Cid responds by saying that's why Clive should join them. He tells Clive that one of his scouts sent word of a group of branded fugitives who are in the village of Lostwing. Amongst them is one who they think might be a dominant of fire. Clive is now very interested and wonders if they're certain. Cid suggests they go meet him and find out.
This doesn't mean I'm joining you.
I think it does. We'll see. We make our way to the main hall to get ready for the trip. We get a little more familiar with the big guy from earlier. This is Goots. He's big, but a coward.
He's in... Oh no.
Clive asks him how one gets ready around here. Goots points us to Nan's place and Blackthorn the blacksmith. Before we leave though, he gives us something saying Blackthorn won't notice us otherwise. Okay, thank you then. Guy likes to drink, huh? Alright, let's go talk to Blackthorn.
Are you Blackthorn?
What if I am? I've no time for idle chatter.
I'm not here to talk. I'll be accompanying Cid to Lostwing and I need you to see to my equipment.
You could be accompanying the goddess Krieger to our holy bedchamber for all I care. I'm not lifting a finger for you.
Cheery fellow, ain't he? Well, let's see what he thinks about this.
Do you want that or not? I can take it back.
Damn you, Goots. All right. No need to be hasty.
It worked. Remember, kids, if you're feeling glum, a little rum in the tum makes you feel less like a bum. Okay, now we have access to the forge, where we can build and upgrade equipment. In order to craft new gear, you'll have to have the materials to build it. Let's go ahead and do it.
And the belt, Caesar Square. You want anything else, you bring your own materials.
Fair. Okay, let's go see Nan now.
Suppose I should thank Goots.
Let's go talk to Goots then.
The gift worked. You have my thanks.
Come on, nearly there.
It looks like something's going on. Hey, it's more branded folk like us. They look pretty hurt.
Well, you're just gonna stand there? Someone fetch some water!
I'll get the bucket! You go and see if Otto needs out, eh?
Wait, me?
Mr. This doesn't mean I'm joining. Begrudgingly goes to help. Quick thing, do I really need a destination marker for this? Well, whatever. We talk with Curmudgeon. What kind of name is that? Huh, okay. Let's talk with him.
Who are they?
Huh? They're freed Imperial bearers. Who the hell are you? Shit, at this rate, he won't make it through the night. Think you can find your way up them stairs to the infirmary? We need Tyre. Well, go on. Shift your ass.
Oh, yeah. You are definitely a curmudgeon. First they hear they make me do stuff, said I wasn't joining, freaking make me do things. Go get Tarya, shift your ass. I'll shift your ass. Okay, infirmary. We asked Tarya to follow us, and she takes a look at the branded bearers. They're okay for now, but will need further examination. Once the situation has calmed down, we find out this curmudgeon's name is Otto. He's the one that runs operations at the Hideaway, sort of like a manager. We also find out that this Nan goes by Lady Karen. She's the Hideaway's merchant.
Oh. And thanks. Be seeing you.
Not likely. I won't be staying.
Man, he does not want to stay around here. At this point, we can start doing side quests, but let's go talk to Karen first.
I need supplies for my journey to Lostwing. Otto said you could provide them.
What's that? Does the newcomer think it proper to make demands of a poor old matron before even introducing himself?
It's Clive.
Well, Clive, I hear that dog is yours. Since he followed Cid home one night, I've seen to it that his chin's rubbed and his belly fed. Though I suppose that's your job now. Unless you lose him again.
Are we sure Lady Karen isn't the second dominant of fire? Because she is dishing out some burns. So, this is a store. You can buy weapons, accessories, consumables, and even sell your things. Standard stuff. Let's go ahead and buy this broadsword.
You'll not find a better price than that.
That's all.
Why, you've barely a guiltier name.
Yeah. I've been in slavery for the past 13 years.
You're taking his side now. And after all I've done for you.
Karen apparently has a soft spot. She points us towards some extra supplies, all the way over there.
Thank you.
Thank me? Thank your dog.
Okay. Thank you, Torgal. What? Really? It's right there! Bah, whatever. Let's go pick up our supplies and go. Karen, what did you do? This is the Arete Stone. Arete Stone. You can't do much yet, but this is where you can replay levels, run through arcade mode, and access the training mode. Let's check out training mode real quick. Training mode is just what it sounds like. You can practice combos and perfect your technique. There are a number of different options you can toggle, like hiding your inputs, regenerating health, making the enemy aggressive, etc. I personally never use this mode. You fight plenty just playing through the game, and I'm not one of the players who do crazy combos. That's enough of that.
You all done?
Leaving already, are you?
It's you I'll miss the most, Lady Karen. It always is.
Ooh, smooth. Alright, let's go meet Cid's friend in Lostwing. Before we head out though, let's check out some of those side quests. You can see what's available to do via the map. They're noted by the bright green icons.
Don't
Sounds
think
like
I
Otto
have...
has it.
Ah, a new face. And, dare I hope, a willing pair of hands. The fat chocobo is a demanding mistress, and we are too few to keep her on her feet. Might I persuade you to deliver a meal or two to souls in need of sustenance? For your trouble, I can offer you the contents of my strongbox and my enduring gratitude.
I mean, I'm not planning on joining. Fine.
I don't see why not.
Okay, I've got a couple questions. 1. Why don't you have people here to help you do that already? Are you really that short-staffed that you gotta ask a stranger to do this for you? I mean, hell, you're just standing here explaining all this to me. You could have delivered the food already. 2. what are you gonna do about the meals that come after we help you? Do those people gotta grab a number or something? Every time you accept a quest, you hear this little jingle. And then the quest is permanently glued to your screen until you complete it. Okay, it's time to play Waiter.
Your food. I was hoping it might be.
Alright, customer numeral dos.
Here.
And last guy, finally.
Well. There's so much more to farming than just seeds and soil.
Your food.
Just a moment. I need to finish this.
Dude, come on, just take the food. You know what? I'm leaving. Do as you please. There was a new update added post-launch that included a quick complete function. For like a minute after completing a quest, you're given the option to hold the start button and get transported back to the quest giver to complete it. Honestly, it's a great little quality of life feature, especially for later quests. In fact, let's give it a try now. Ah, thank goodness. Saved me so much time.
All done.
This side quest hammers home the idea that bearers can start fresh here as free individuals, not answering to any master and doing as they please. It serves to address the context of the Hideaway, which at this point is just a broad goal dreamed up by Cid. To be honest though, not really impressed with the side quest. All I did was follow destination markers and hold X. I've seen a lot of discourse around the side quests. Are they good? Are they bad? The first few are boring, but they get much better. The lore is the reward. There's a range of quality, and I'll delve into these in detail in a separate section later. For now, I just wanted to give you a taste. No pun intended. Upon completion of quest, you're typically rewarded EXP and rewards in the form of crafting materials or even gear. The game introduces treasure coffers. Sometimes you can find these in towns or in the overworld. You'll find gear, music, materials, even consumables. In this case, we found an accessory. Let's try it on. Nice, it boosts our defense. Before we leave, let's meet a couple people. This is Tombs. He's the resident lore master. He doesn't do anything per se, but he's like a database of the game's events, characters, terms, etc.
I have compiled some new entries, if you would like to see them. If you have a question for me, I should be happy to answer it.
I like visiting him sometimes, simply just to hear his voice. He's like a kind old owner of a bookstore who might read stories to kids once a week. Honestly, one of my favorite characters in the game. Next is this dude. He'll sing medieval-esque compositions if you try talking with him.
When lightning struck, his yoke did break, his life his own again. With thunder's roll he knew his fate, and would fight it to the end.
As you progress the game, he'll sing different songs when you visit him. The last thing is the jukebox. You can change the music that plays at the Hideaway by using this thing and selecting a track. As you can see, most of everything is unavailable. You'll either have to buy them from merchants or find them in treasure chests. I wanted to move on, but I want to show you one more side quest to give you an idea of what most of them are like. This guy needs more wood to reinforce the Hideaway, so he asks you for help. He has us talk to some carpenters to find out where to get the wood. Oh, wouldn't you know it? It's right freaking there! So we grab the wood, which the game so graciously helps us find, and we hand it over to the carpenter. I hope you like seeing the same thing over and over again, because every time you hand things over, you get to watch Clive do this.
Will this be enough?
And every time he accepts something too. Another riveting side quest. Okay, look. I like lore as much as the next guy, but come on, these are just fetch quests. Yeah, I like hearing about details on how these guys have to make renovations in the Hideaway, and that they're growing their own food without using magic, but they really couldn't make the activity part of it more interesting? I'll even take a mash X as fast as you can type of minigame, or press the correct button as fast as you can type of a thing. Just something to break up the flow of the main game. And yeah, this early on, it's not a big deal. You know what though? It's fine, they're just side quests, Cid's waiting for us, we should head out now. The pair take a detour through a place called the Greatwood within Sambrec. We get a little conversation between the two, finding out why they decided to take this path.
I told you we should have taken the Crystal Road.
And I told you we're outlaws. Well, you want every bounty hunter in Storm harrying us from here to the Holy Capital? Besides, what's wrong with a shortcut through nature's splendor?
Clive never skips a chance to pet Torgal. Okay, I've already beaten the game once, and it took me over 100 hours. So from this point forward, I'll be going through on New Game Plus to keep things interesting for me. The story stays the same, but fights have been rearranged so you see tougher enemies during encounters.
Did I mention there'd be deadly beasts? There'll be deadly beasts. Nothing a trained assassin can't handle, though.
How reassuring.
You're welcome. For that and the shortcut.
The banter between these two is always great. I need to take a moment again to call out how beautiful this game looks. This is definitely one of my favorite areas in the game. There's lush greenery everywhere, and I love the pockets of light that illuminate the area. While Clive and Cid are making their way through the woods, they come across this big fellow. Would not want to be caught in his tracks. Clive gives us a short little history on the spread of the Blight.
What in good Grieger's name is he doing this far south?
Looking for food. No more wolves where he's from. The north was one of the first parts of Storm to fall to the Blight.
Poor sod. I'd invite him over for a cup of tea if I didn't think he'd eat the dog.
Speaking of dog, you can pet the dog in Final Fantasy 16. Like Cid mentioned, you fight some small enemies along the way. They're easy to dispose of though. As I mentioned earlier, the nice thing about New Game Plus is that they add in some stronger enemies from later in the game so that the fights are more engaging early on. Eventually, we make it to an open space where it's time for some tea and dog biscuits.
Did somebody say tea? I love ginseng! Gimme!
It's a pretty slow enemy, so dodging its attacks is easy. The thing that makes this fight feel long though is that you're limited to just one Eikon at this point, so you can't deal a lot of damage. With our combined efforts though, the lizard goes down. Or so we think. Cid shows us what he can do with his Eikon.
Stand back!
Why didn't you just do that from the start? Oh. That's why.
You're a dominant.
Cid is the dominant of Ramu, the Icon of Thunder. It's never really explained why people are chosen. Unlike the Phoenix, who historically chooses someone in the Rosfield bloodline, according to Cid, his blessing was random. Either way, he plans on using his power to help free the bearers throughout Valisthea. In Cid's words,
I only wish to offer our kind of choice. A place where we can die on our own terms. Huh? Clive, what exactly do you plan on doing when you find this dominant of fire?
What do you think? I'll show him the mercy he showed my brother. And cut out the tongue of any man who tries to talk me out of it.
All right. Forest dark enough as it is.
A short while later, the two come across a Wallowed soldier and move in to take a closer look. Oh, it's Benedikta. Gah, my lord, that suit. Unfortunately, they're not so sneaky and get caught, which means it's time to brawl. We face off against the Midnight Raven and some smaller enemies. By the way, your party members actually do fight alongside you, even if they don't help much. Cid? You wanna help out? Thank you. At most, they use an ability every once in a while, and don't inflict too much damage. So they're really there just for immersion to me.
You know what to do, boy. Sick of trouble. Get up.
Yeah! Being in Final Fantasy mode does actually change the cinematic clashes. The button prompts are gone, and you'll have to rely on the visual cues to know whether to dodge, attack, or mash the button. After all that mashing, we slay the Midnight Raven. We've made it through the Greatwood, and Lostwing is just up ahead. On the way, we run into some well-loaded soldiers, tipping us off that something is definitely not right. Sure enough, there's no one home. The duo split up to look for Cid's scout.
How do I let you know if I find him?
Good question. Shout?
Subtle.
So we look around the town looking for them. Clive eventually finds a little girl who gives a tip that her parents were taken to the church. When we find the church, no one's there. Ah, a ladder. Cut to the next scene, and we find the group locked up in a cellar. Cid comes to save the day, and uses a makeshift key to open the locked door.
Clive!
I thought you were joking.
I love this man. This is where we're introduced to Gav. He's the scout that Cid mentioned earlier. Sure enough, he kinda confirms that there may have been someone amongst them who was a dominant of fire.
Was a dominant among them?
Maybe. It's not like he was holding a sign.
They were separated from this group along with some other bearers. Our conversation is cut short though, as a royalist soldier accidentally walks in.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
And he brings us straight to Benedikta's squad.
And instead of killing them, you lead the rats straight to us.
Mercy.
Oh, she's cold. Benedikta gives us a little taste of Garuda's wrath.
Boo.
She doesn't want to dirty her hands though, and summons a monster in her stead. It's no match for the Phoenix though. As we put it down, Cid finally joins us, and we see the unspoken history between the two play out for a bit.
Remind me, why was it that you betrayed your kingdom?
Why? Because I'd had enough of you and your king's antics.
And yet here you are, stealing my branded. What are you plotting?
As if I'd tell you.
Lady Benedikta, we have secured the dominant.
Earlier, her second in command was saying that they've captured the dominant's companion. Presumably, they use them to get to the dominant. With this news, she splits, and Gav follows them to find out where they're going. With Lostwing freed, everyone takes a moment to take a breather. We also find out that the Walloder's main objective was looking for a dominant amongst the bearers.
So, it wasn't about bearers at all. They were looking for a dominant.
Yeah, that's right.
I wonder why. Later, Gav comes back with some news. He tells us that they're hiding out in Caer Norvent. Cid suggests they retire for the evening, and Clive gets, unsurprisingly, heated. Cid's plan is to raid the Royalists tomorrow under a fresh night sky so they have plenty of moonlight to burn.
Now that's settled. There's someone I want you to meet.
At this hour?
At this time of year, at this time of day, in this part of the country, localized entirely within
Lostwing.
Yeah?
This is where we meet the first of Cid's, let's say, supporters. His name is Quentin, and he runs Lostwing. He gives us a little seal that makes the people of Lostwing ignore our brand and talk to us. With this new power, we go around town to talk to people and ask around about the Dominant. They confirmed that he wasn't alone and that he was dressed in robes that covered his face. Quick petting break?
That'll feel good, boy.
Now that we have some intel, we sync up with Cid.
So, a shady lad with a hood, and his equally shady lass. Not much to go on.
I love the phrasing of that. It's time to get some sleep, so we go talk with Quentin.
Now, about those beds.
Beds? I seem to recall your request being to spend the night. And for that, the floor will more than suffice.
Oh, you're a stingy son of a bitch, aren't you?
My thanks, Quentin. Next time you're at the Hideaway, our floor's all yours.
No need for thanks, Cid. This isn't an act of charity.
You don't say.
In exchange for my floor, I shall be requiring your services. The Royalists saw fit to erect a barricade across the road south when they occupied the village, and failed to remove it when they left. I expect it to be gone before you leave.
As you wish.
Okay, but did you, forget about the part we freaking chased down a Royalist and saved the town from a mini Garuda? Thanks, I suppose.
Now we'll arrive at the Caer when the shadows are at their deepest. Unless you'd rather wait.
No more waiting.
The road south, then?
Well, the time has come. Let's go hunt us down that Joshua killer. Caer Norvent is just a small hike down the road, but we do have to deal with more Royalists along the way. When we get there, we see that it's guarded, so we'll need to use a little more tact. Our way is through the sluice gates below. Meanwhile, Benedikta is reminiscing on the roof. Why are you so quiet? What's on your mind? Ooh. In this saucy scene, we find out why old Barney Boy is so keen on recruiting all the Dominants.
The dark swallows more of the realm with each passing day. The land starved of the ether that gives it life. And as the fringes fade, the people flock to the mother crystals, desperate for their blessing. The war we wage for possession of that blessing, it breaks us from within, hastening us to our own destruction.
And so you do what must be done.
I unite the Dominants, that we may bring an end to the strife, and found a new order to see us unto tomorrow.
It's also revealed that Benedikta has some unresolved feelings for Cid.
You might have already had Sidolphus not betrayed us.
Him again. Lust you still for his embrace?
But of course not, my liege. I serve you, and you alone.
I remember well the day you first entered these halls. Your pale hand pressed into his, as if it would never let go.
That was a long time ago.
In what nature, it's still unclear though. Our boy's presence has been detected. She instructs her second-in-command to lead them to the chapel. Speaking of boys, we get inside easily enough.
That's a nice trick.
Ah, that fire and shadow never get old. And I gotta call out the music again. The preserved intensity of the strings builds tension, and the repeating cadence is catchy AF.
We should start with the dungeons. They may be holding the bearers there.
The banter between Cid and Clive is also always so fun to listen to.
They're all empty.
And? You gonna give up?
Cid, this gate.
Need some help.
What do you think?
That I'm doing most of the lifting. At your leisure, Clive.
Going through the castle is not particularly eventful. You essentially go through zones where you encounter waves of enemies. There's not anything to really find or discover either. Although you don't want to miss any chests you come across, they may contain accessories. When we make it to the chapel, we get a personal welcome from the Lady of the Wind herself. She means to still try and convince Cid to come back to their side. But unable to do so, she decides it's better for him to die.
Then you leave me no choice. Goodbye, Sidolphus.
They duke it out in what's called a semi-primed form. It's essentially a half transformation so that the dominant uses less ether and doesn't die as quickly. Oof, he's gonna feel that tomorrow.
Finish them.
Ah, great. 2 of these?
Well, Cid, at least it's not 3 against 1.
Gone like the wind. Cid's pretty beat up and down for the count. It's up to us to stop Benedikta from taking the dominant and leaving. We make our way up the rest of the tower, fighting through more waves of royalists. When we reach the top, Benedikta is waiting for us. Instead of exchanging fists though, she exchanges some words. Seeing Clive's penchant for surviving, she tries to recruit him to the Willoder's side. Or perhaps she's just trying to get him to lower his guard. Our boy, Clive, is focused though, and gets straight to the point asking about the dominant. She's had enough of him though. Before I get into the fight, I want to point out how marvelous the performance for Benedikta is. There's such strength in her voice, and yet her feminine charm oozes through.
You would dare to make demands of me. Know your place, little lamb. Fool is the shepherd who heeds every bleat of the flock. And I will suffer yours no longer. Must I spell it out for you, Branded? No one is listening. No one at all! Ah! Come, little lamb. To the slaughter with you.
Oh, we about to throw down. It's a fun boss fight. A lot of it will depend on your ability to precision dodge, as she uses a lot of ranged attacks. When we whack down her health bar, she gets pressured into semi-priming.
Dodge this. Fucking duck!
Otto, my boy!
One thing I really started noticing through this fight is how amazing the particle effects and animations look.
Not this time.
Even though all the attacks affect Clive the same, the attention to visuals make them at least feel distinct and a marvel to look at. She gets tired of getting her butt kicked and locks Clive down for a moment.
Shit!
Bad luck.
Oh, it's the return of Good Boy! Clive comes in slicing and dicing. Torgal comes in with a deadly bite. Clive keeps the combo hot. And Torgal executes his trademark Tornado Fang! I don't believe it! The crowd is going wild!
Defeated by a mere branded, Benedikta is left kneeling on the ground, questioning what just happened. Then Cid shows up just to rub it in her face. Impatient, Clive moves in to... actually, what was he planning to do? Bro, where are you aiming?
Clive?
Something strange happens. It appears that Clive has absorbed Garuda's power. Hello? An explosion goes off in the distance. Benedikta's patience has been spent up, and she gets up to strike Clive down. But when she tries to use Garuda's power, it doesn't work. Her second-in-command comes running in seeking her support, but left confused and enraged, she's the one who needs the support.
Look at me, my lady. We need you here. What the hell is going on?
Cid is curious about how Clive absorbed Garuda's power, but before they can have a conversation, even more explosions go off. Cid reckons this is the work of the Dominant. The three peace out before the whole castle collapses. And it looks like Cid was right. Our sneaky little Dominant also makes his escape with his companion. What a crazy night! There are still some soldiers around the castle, which means this is a perfect time to try out our newly obtained power of the wind.
Benedikta said you'd taken her power. You don't still have it, do you?
I think I do.
Well, are you not keen to try it out?
Well said, Cid. The iconic feat tied to Garuda allows Clive to grab enemies from afar, just like Benedikta does. Gouge has a high stagger rate, so it's good to use on enemies with a will gauge. Rook's Gambit is a counter move. Clive will dodge back and bounce forward with an attack. If you time it right as an enemy attacks, the potency of damage will be increased. The last ability is Wicked Wheel. It's an upward moving flurry of claws that launches enemies into the air. All of Garuda's moves can also be used mid-air. When we get far enough north, we run into no other than Gav. The three get out of the area and regroup. Apparently, Gav has helped the other bearers who were in Caer Norvent escape. Gav asks what happened to the Dominant, to which Clive irritatingly responds that he escaped. He offers to help track him down, and Clive is thankful. We cut to Benedikta, who at this point has lost her mind. She's fearful that Barnabas will throw her away now that she's lost her power. Jesus! That seemed to have snapped her out of it, though.
What do we have here?
Fetch a good price, I reckon.
Stay away!
Ah, it looks like in the past, Cid saved her.
It's all right. They can't hurt you anymore. Come on, let's go home.
Is this it, Adolphus? My punishment for not listening to you?
Ah!
this wretched world. It deserves to die. It all deserves to die! 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 Die!
Oh snap. Garuda's awakening brings about a huge tornado in the region. But surprisingly, Clive's got bigger problems. I think Cid also explains how it is that Benedikta was still able to call upon Garuda's power.
She's drawn in too much ether. She can't control it.
Instead of running, Clive is adamant on stopping her.
I heard it again. Someone is calling me. Damn it, lad. That doesn't mean you have to listen. I should have gone with Gav.
It's the first time I think Cid gets annoyed. Cid also gives a little insight as to what exactly these creatures are.
There are so many.
Aye. One for every fragment of our mind.
As we get closer to the tornado, Clive expresses what he was thinking. He's positive that the Dominant is within the storm. As they're making their way towards the center, they see the Dominant waiting for them at the top of some stairs. This triggers the memory Clive has of the night at Phoenix Gate.
Wait! Clive. What's that? The Dominant.
Cid seems to possibly recognize them, but Clive is certain it's the Dominant. Cid is hesitant, but before they can discuss it further, a giant piece of rubble falls in their direction. Clive has been separated from the group. Cid tells him to go and confront the Dominant as he finally has his chance. So we chase after him. This section is amazing to look at. The heavy wind and debris everywhere, trees getting uprooted, and Garuda coming in at random times to tease us. Not to mention the music. It's an unexpectedly beautiful sequence.
You won't stop me, Garuda!
She's toying with me.
You called me! Why?
So many distractions!
Where is he?
This Garuda fight is noteworthy for a couple reasons. 1. She looks fantastic. Her design is excellent, from her piercing yellow eyes to her double set of wings equipped with claws. And she's rendered wonderfully on the PS5. My favorite detail is her feathers wavering around from the wind. 2. This is where the game officially introduces takedowns. When you get an enemy half staggered, you can use Deadly Embrace to daze them for a short window and freely attack them. Clive is no ordinary man, because as a mere man, he takes down an Eikon. I retract my statement with swiftness.
You're nothing but a monster, and I will not let you stand in my way!
Ah, shit. Here we go again. Oh. Shit. What? We were the dominant all along?
Clive!
Damn, okay, it's on for real. We reach the second Eikon battle. This one plays like a 1v1 fighting match. Honestly, it's a lot of fun despite how simple it is. What makes it so engaging is the visual spectacle, the mix of QTE events, and the music. It just feels larger than life. Damn, she ain't gonna be back for Final Fantasy XVII.
Control it, Clive! Stop this! Now!
Seeing that Clive is out of control, Cid primes into a full-fledged Ramu to knock him out.
I said stop!
Of course, this takes a huge toll on him. He goes to check on Clive and confirms as a spectator that Clive is indeed the dominant he was searching for all these years.
The ghost you've been chasing, it was inside you all along.
He notices the pendant Benedikta was holding back at Caer Norvent and sees her body a short distance away. He walks over to where she is and laments her tragic passing.
Why? Why did you have to listen to him? Benner. This can't be what you wanted, can it?
The game shifts focus to a different battlefield for a moment. It's a fight between Walode and Sambrek. For the first time, we get a look at Odin, aka Old Barney Boy. And the game introduces Dion, the Prince of Sambrek. He's the wielder of Bahamut's power. The two showcase their strength in a battle of eikons. It appears it was only a friendly exchange of greetings because Dion soon retires to his tent. He's informed that Sambrek's capital has been infiltrated by saboteurs. Therefore, no reinforcements will be sent to help Dion's troops. He replies with the most badass prince-like answer.
That is of no matter. The Emperor's safety is paramount. I shall deal with our enemies here. All of them.
He's already one of my favorite characters. We cut back to Clive. Cid apparently had him chained up due to his unpredictable nature. Having to face the truth of that night at Phoenix Gate, Clive is now a broken man.
It was me. I killed him. I killed Joshua. I killed them all. I'm a monster. And I deserve to die. So end it. End it now. Please. Please. Ah!
Cid would rather see Clive alive though and put his talents to good use. He tells Clive to get dressed and meet him outside.
Get dressed. Pretty as you are, you're not my type.
Once we get decent, we go talk with Cid. Gav has got a lead on the dominant. With the truth coming out though, Clive doesn't see any point in continuing pursuit. But Cid wants him to at least hear Gav out as the man went out of his way for Clive. So, we set out for our next destination, which is the Kingsfield. The King's Fall. Which is another one of Cid's
shortcut.
Clive is very preoccupied, so Cid tries to talk to him.
All point to...
But that'll have to wait.
That was an Imperial signal. Our little chat can wait. I need to see what the bastards are up to. You go on ahead and meet up with Gav.
But we both know that...
No buts about it.
Buts!
So we make our way towards Gav.
This is stupid. I'm the dominant of fire. We sent Gav on a wild goose chase.
Oh, Clive, your whining never gets old. This is another wonderful section of the game to walk through.
What now? Beastman! Another perfect little shortcut, Cid. Straight through a nest of bloodthirsty beasts.
We eventually get to a bridge, and Clive is presumably driven back into his head again. Torgal notices something though. It's Gav!
Gav!
And he's in trouble. We hurry to where he is to save him. The Imperials recognize Clive as a deserter, so peace isn't an option. When we get rid of the weaker soldiers, we then have to fight a dragoon and a dragon. Cid is here to back us up though, and volunteers to take on the dragon. Once we defeat them both, we head off to help Gav. He's cornered onto the edge of a cliff with nowhere else to run. Thankfully, we make it into... oh, never mind.
Punch!
He's just barely hanging on, but Clive swoops in to save him at the last minute. Cid gets Gav all patched up, which means it's finally time to hear what he's found out.
Well, found out where your friend's heading for one thing. Him and his mate are on their way to your old stomping ground, Rosaria.
Wait, what? Wielder of Fire is going to Rosaria? Cid seems to recognize him. They couldn't possibly be... Whoever they are, Cid urges Clive to find out. He also gives him some good motivation.
You're gonna find him and find out. After all, you swore an oath.
What?
You swore you'd avenge your brother's death, that you'd never rest until you'd hunted down the man responsible. So, find out if this man's responsible, and kill yourself if he's not.
Speaking of dominance, the game cuts to our mysterious little fire starter and his companion. Golden locks of hair? Okay, I swear, if it turns out this is it's Joshua! And he's alive! Our merry band of men and Good Boy make it back to the Hideaway.
Think I'm having you on?
Clive! Your friend! She's awake!
Right.
All the good looks in the world, and the man don't have any idea how to act with a woman.
Go to her, you fool.
Everyone excuses themselves, so Clive will hurry the Phoenix up and go see Jill.
It's true then. It really is you.
It is.
Clive!
Finally, after all this time, the two reunite and speak to one another. Clive asks how Jill ended up in the Iron Kingdom.
The Iron Blood. They invaded not long after the news arrived about Phoenix Gate. Rosaria had lost her leaders. The duchy was in chaos. The Iron Kingdom saw our weakness and pounced upon it. They killed the men and captured the women. My powers awoke and everything changed.
It hasn't been easy for her. Clive indirectly slips that he's a dominant, and this catches Jill's attention. She then asks him what happened 13 years ago at Phoenix Gate. After Clive details what happened, Jill suggests they go back to Phoenix Gate to see if they can find out what really went down. Jill also shows us that she's got Clive's back no matter what.
Then we will face it together.
Jill,
You'll be needing a change of clothes then. Out you go, your lordship. We wouldn't want you getting overexcited.
Tarja apparently has no sense of privacy and has been listening to their conversation. We make ourselves scarce. There's a new guest in the Hideaway. It's none other than a Moogle. So cute. He doesn't do much now, but we'll have reasons to talk to him later on. We visit Karen to stock up on any supplies, and then we talk to Gav to give him a personal thanks. He gets kinda weird with thank yous though.
Yeah, I'm just doing my job. No need to make such a fuss.
You might think he was afraid to be called gay or something. Anyways, he tells us that if we run into any problems, to look up Martha. Tarja and Jill show up.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
My lady. Well, it's back to our homeland. Phew. It's good to be back. Things are a little different this time with Clive's brand, though.
That inn at the top of the hill must be Martha's Rest. Gav said the landlady's a friend.
But can we say the same for her patrons?
Imperials don't tend to take well to those with my mark. If anyone asks, I'm a branded soldier, sworn to protect my noble mistress.
When we travel down the road a bit, we run into a person in trouble.
You couldn't give me an hand, could you? Typical. A bloody bearer. And just when I thought my luck had changed.
Do you want my help or not?
Here, you understand me, don't you? I need your help.
I speak English, motherfucker.
I've got something special needs delivering before the rest. You couldn't run it up to Martha's Rest for me, could you? Needs to get there quick, mind.
Yeah, okay. I'll help. Anyways, we continue on and... Okay, I can't ignore this anymore. The destination markers. I mean, come on, they're so obnoxious. I just want to enjoy the beautiful setting, but everywhere I turn, I see these things on the screen. It'd be fine if I could turn these off, but they're part of the game. It's not like I'll get lost. The game gives me a map for crying out loud. Not to mention the permanent reminder on the side of the screen on what to do. They give you a quest list in the menu. Why not just let us go there if we need a reminder? The game gives us this beautiful world to get lost in, and then clutters it up with all kinds of symbols, messages, and notifications. It'd be such an easy thing to do to add the option to turn these all off. Alas, with the developers now having moved on from the game, it's just a pipe dream. Well, alright, we deliver the package to the stable master, and then we head over to Martha's Rest. Here, we meet Martha. As Gav mentioned, she supports Cid and his cause, so she helps bearers any chance she can get, and by any means. When Clive mentions he's with Cid, she tells the two of them to follow her. She's cautious and openly talking about helping bearers in case it's with someone who disapproves. Clive tells her that they're trying to get to Phoenix Gate. The bridge to Eastpool is apparently the safest road. Only, the bridge is down, and the carpenter who was supposed to fix it has been away on another job for too long. So, we volunteered to investigate. He was apparently last seen checking another bridge down at the marshes. Let's go see if we can find the man.
Ready goes to Eastpool. Here's the gate. And that must be the ladder.
What was that?
It came from under the bridge. Come on.
Aha! No wonder he hasn't shown up. Nothing a little fire can't fix. Once we save him, we remind him about the bridge to Eastpool. He starts working on the repairs immediately. While he's doing that, we go talk to Martha. We tell her that we found the carpenter and that he'll have the bridge fixed. She mentions that there have been more monsters appearing because of the blight. They're coming closer to town to look for food. While the bridge is being repaired, she offers us lodging, which we gladly accept. Clive takes this downtime to ask about the bearers in Rosaria. Rather, why there are so few. Martha reveals that most of them have been taken to work elsewhere for the Empire ever since they've taken over Rosaria. Crystals are apparently a lot more scarce than they used to be, which means bearers are being used for magic instead. A mother and child walk into the inn, and we overhear this conversation.
Congratulations on the new arrival. And you got the little laddie with you?
It was a bearer. The boy I carried for 9 long moons. A bloody bearer.
Oh, you poor thing. You gave it to the constables then?
Just left it at the garrison, aye. Let them deal with it. Couldn't wait to be rid of the blasted thing. Been wanting it gone since the moment I found out.
Well, it's all dealt with now. So no harm done, eh?
Mum, you weren't my brother, was he?
No. But you'll have one soon enough. You just have to be patient. All right?
All right.
Holy hell, that's awful. I guess things have really taken a turn for the worse once Archduke Elwyn's reign came to an end. Martha says she wants us to see something and asks us to take something to the Abbey. In her words,
"There's a darkness at the heart of this world, and I'd have you see it."
So we make for the Abbey. When we get there, the abbot turns us away. But when we tell him we're here on business, he asks us to follow him. What we're shown is, indeed, dark. We see what happens when a bearer uses their magic too much.
The light, it fades. I don't want to die alone.
They were afflicted with petrification and pain. Martha has entrusted her bearers to the abbot to help ease their suffering in any way he can. They're basically lying in agony until the curse takes them completely and their whole body petrifies. An awful fate for a life lived in servitude. We meet up with Martha again and tell her the news about her bearers. She asks us to go upstairs with her. Martha reveals that the way she saves bearers is by using the funds from the inn to legally buy them. Of course, we know she has no intent on treating them like slaves though. She also tells us that the bridge is fixed up and that the road to Eastpool is open once more. One last thing, she gives us a seal so people know that we're okay to talk to.
Lord Rosfield and Lady Warwick have come back to us. And long may they stay.
Oh, she knew? Hey, it's Cid.
Hurt your hand.
I did, aye.
Oh no.
With 1,000 little lightning bolts. Can't fling them around the way I used to. Think of it as my decoration for long service and exemplary misconduct.
He's so positive. Cid shares a bit of experience on trying to save people.
I knew a girl, back in the day. She was a slave to her fate, just like you. I wanted to save her. For a while, I even thought I could. But just because you think something doesn't make it true.
We all know he's talking about Benedikta. He tells Clive why bother saying things that people won't listen to, but he does want to tell Clive this.
You're not a monster. You're the same man you've always been. Accept that, and you may yet escape your fate.
These words are some major foreshadowing of a struggle Clive has throughout the game. With Cid having said what he wanted to, he and Goots head back to the Hideaway. Next is Eastpool. On our way, we run into another person in need.
Curse my luck. I'm branded.
Oh, hell nah, not again. God damn it, I'm a human being.
That's the slumbering chocobo you're wearing. You and the Marthas, are you? Good. She won't begrudge me the use of you then. Well, there's wolves about. Martha's no fool, so she must see something in you.
Well, thank you. Okay, I'll help. Just a short distance down the road, we find the pack of wolves and dispatch them with ease for this guy. We talk to the guy's friend to tell them the road is clear and we continue on towards Eastpool. When we get there, someone recognizes us.
You're Clive Rosfield. It's me, Hannah, Rodney Murdoch's wife.
Oh snap, Mr. Flattening? She's so elated to see us. Bringing back memories of old, she's overtaken by emotion.
The Lord Marquis and Jill too. It's so good to see you both again.
Lady Hanna invites us to stay for the evening, and we accept. It's a bit of an awkward reunion, as everyone's lived a difficult life post-Phoenix Gate. She reveals that Rosalith is closed off to civilians by order of Clive's mother, even to those who have served in the capital. Clive lightly asks if his mother wouldn't make an exception for Lady Hanna and Lord Murdoch. It's here Hanna reveals what we all already knew. Lord Murdoch perished on the night of Phoenix Gate. Clive pieces things together and realizes it was because he awakened as Ifrit that night. He's so distressed, Lady Hanna suggests they get some rest. We cut to Clive and Jill in a barn. Clive feels too much guilt to spend the night inside. He spends some time reflecting on his life.
13 years of killing. 13 years without the faintest glimmer of hope. It was only Joshua that kept me going. I swore that I would avenge his death. That I would kill his killer. That was the only thing that gave my life any meaning. But if it was me who killed Joshua and Murdoch and all the others, then why the hell am I still breathing?
I ask myself the same.
Come on, Jill, keep it together. It's not about you right now.
When I fought, hundreds died. There were so many bodies, so many lives cut short in their prime. That day in Dalmekia, I wanted to join them. I wanted it all to end. I couldn't bear it anymore. If living meant being that, better to be just another body.
Jill hasn't had it easy either, though. They share a sweet, nostalgic moment, reminiscent of the night before Phoenix Gate.
Do you remember that night on the balcony, when we looked up at the moon? I said a prayer to Metia, and that prayer was answered. You came back to me. The heavens must have a plan for us.
And now they kiss. And now they kiss.
We should get some rest.
Ah, come on. In the morning, we leave Lady Hanna's company, but not without Clive changing his digs. Damn! They were his father's, and she kept it all this time. Lord Murdoch and Elwyn apparently grew up together as good friends. Well, this has been a sweet little reunion. It's time to continue our journey for the truth. We're about to go through the gates when another person recognizes us, god damn it. He tells us how much we resemble Elwyn in his youth, and he informs us that we can take back possession of our bearers? He further goes on to explain what exactly happened. The Ironblood Kingdom sacked Rosalith, and the bearers who lost their masters fled to Eastpool. The Rosarians tried to take it back, but then the Imperials moved in and took over the capital. So the bearers who fled to Eastpool stayed put. Anyways, it turns out he used to be a mayor in Rosaria, and he thinks it'd be better for Clive's bearers to serve under Clive as they are still loyal to the Rossfields. Clive doesn't think he could take care of them, so respectfully declines, saying he's master of no one. The mayor asks for a favor then, to go see one of the bearers and show him that the Rossfield bloodline lives on. Okay, I guess we'll go meet him. He apparently sits by the well most days. Where is he? I guess we have to talk to people to get some clues.
Anyway, you'll be round here somewhere.
Thank you. We'll keep looking.
Aw, come on! Let's move on with it.
Hey, hold on a mo. Young Patrick, the chocobo keeper, might know where he is.
Excuse me, but is something the matter?
It's this bearer I've been minding. I take my eyes off him for 1 minute and he disappears. He's not in his usual spot by the well, nor anywhere else in the village.
You keep searching here. We'll look for him outside. I hope he hasn't wandered into trouble.
Oh gee, I wonder where he could be. What's the point of doing all this if I get a big fat arrow pointing me exactly where he is? Just play a cutscene and let me move on. Finally, we find the old man. Uh-oh, he looks to be in trouble. Let's step in and help him out. Hey man, you okay?
Your Grace, you came for me.
What? He thinks we're Elwyn Rossfield. Clive tries to tell the man he's not him, but Jill sees there's no point and hints at Clive to just go with it. The old bearer has been waiting for his master to come and take him back to the castle. He asks if they're going back, and Clive tells him no because he's on an important expedition. He asks the bearer to wait here in Eastpool until it's complete. Quest over. We meet up with the mayor again to tell him we talked to the bearer. There is another problem though. Eastpool won't hang on much longer as the blight moves closer. He reveals that Lady Hanna has pretty much been financing the town by selling her goods and riches. But with the blight, things aren't looking good, especially for the bearers. Clive offers to talk to Cid, who would gladly take them in, and the mayor is grateful. He'd like to talk to Clive again if he's passing through Eastpool, and Clive assures him he'll look for the mayor on his way back. Finally, we can get out of Eastpool. Oh man, the mayor was not kidding about the blight being close. After a short hike through the Deadlands, there it is. Phoenix Gate. After 13 years. When they reach the ruins, Clive and Jill find nothing has changed after all this time. They decide to have a look around. Torgal finds something which catches Jill's attention. It's the Dominant, Joshua. Our trio make haste and try and catch him, only for him to have disappeared. We get a little bit of lore on where exactly they are.
What is this place, anyway? Some sort of shrine?
Oh, sorry. You've never been here before.
This is the Hall of the Gate.
The gate?
It's a relic of the Fallen. Only the Phoenix's Dominant can open it.
Hence the castle's name. This was where Joshua was supposed to...
Yes. He would have stepped through this door the next morning and listened to the words of our ancestors.
Would you have gone with him?
No. The Apodatory is holy ground. None but the Dominant may enter. I and the other shields would have stood guard here and prayed for my brother's safe return. Where the hell did he go?
Perhaps he went inside.
He couldn't have.
He'd need the power of the Phoenix.
Light bulb. Let's go see what's inside. Huh. So I guess this is what a fallen ruin looks like. When the two reach the center, they accidentally activate a lift. This awakens some fallen enemies, which the two swiftly dispose of. Man, this place sure is dangerous. Is this what Joshua would have had to deal with back then? Would he have survived?
Would Joshua have had to run this gauntlet too?
No. At least not that I ever heard about. I imagine the Phoenix would receive a warmer welcome.
Ah, thank you, Jill and Clive. There's a fairly fun boss fight you'll encounter as you progress the dungeon. Here we learn of pressing the attack. Some bosses will charge a super move. There's a purple gauge that appears, and we need to beat it down before the enemy finishes charging up. Otherwise, they'll unleash an attack that's bound to kill us. After venturing deep within the ruin and fighting wave after wave of fallen, they reach a mural. They wonder what it could be. But just as the two are thinking, Clive experiences another episode. No. I guess we passed out? Where are we? Jill? Torgal? We're taken back to the night of Phoenix Gate, where Clive is forced to confront the truth.
I'm back.
Joshua! Stop it!
I did this. I killed him.
Joshua chose me to be his shield. He gave me his blessing and asked me to keep him safe. I should have protected him that day. It was my duty.
Clive.
I'm sorry. I failed you.
Joshua died. I killed him.
And I blamed another for what I did. To spare myself the guilt.
I feared that by accepting it, I would lose what little was left of me.
So I ran. From everything.
And now? Are you ready to accept the truth?
I am.
I know it won't be easy, but it's what I must do.
Clive has finally accepted that it was he who killed Joshua. In a symbolic gesture, young Clive passes on the flame of Ifrit to current Clive. He now faces the literal demon of fire that has been eating away at him these past 13 years. Still, even after facing the truth, Clive still can't fully accept it. We battle against our shadow as well. Midway through the fight, we're revisited by young Clive again. Clive says he's done running, and the two become one. And thus, we experience one of the hypest tracks of the game.
Show yourself, Ifrit.
With a newfound truth, Clive defeats his scapegoat. Finally, Clive has come to terms with what really happened. As we catch our breath, we hear that voice again. We snap back to reality where time has stopped. Jill is, of course, concerned, but Clive reassures her he's fine. Understanding the truth, Clive tells Jill the hooded man isn't here and that they should leave. When they make it outside, Jill senses there's definitely something on Clive's mind. She tells him he can talk to her. So, Clive says out loud what he accepted inside the apothecary. He feels that he needs to atone for taking the lives of everyone that night and for being a catalyst for Jill's suffering. But he wants to find the answers to all his questions before he does.
And since I'm still breathing, I might as well make myself useful.
Ah, Cid's gotten to you. Jill has of course got Clive's back. The camera pans out to reveal that Joshua was indeed here at Phoenix Gate. He says some interesting things.
If he is here, then
The disturbance I felt at the Caer must have been confounded. The hour is later than I thought.
We cut to somewhere. Oh snap, it's Hugo.
Tell me, who did this?
The man who delivered the coffer said... He said Cid paid him.
Oh, he found out.
I'll crush him, flay him, rip out his heart, him and all his filthy brood.
It's interesting that Cid would send whatever's in the box to Hugo. I guess his relationship with Benedikta was official and known throughout the realm, despite her actually being with Barnabas, but her heart belonging to Cid. Either way, Hugo is pissed. Cid better watch his back for Kupka. With the truth now discovered, we head back to Eastpool. Torgal senses something is wrong though. Oh no. Imperials have come and destroyed the town. Lady Hanna, surely she must be...
All must burn! The bearers and those who sheltered them. By Empress Annabella's command!
Annabella! We get rid of all the Imperials, but it's too late. There are some people off in the distance. It's Gav! Cid had apparently already offered the bearers here refuge at the Hideaway. But seeing how loyal the bearers here were to Rosaria, I suppose they didn't take him up on his offer. Gav guesses that word got out that Eastpool was keeping bearers. And when that news hit Annabella, her hate for bears kicked in and she sent in Imperials to wipe out the whole town. This awakens something in Clive.
This world judges that a crime punishable by death. Which is why we're going to change it.
I think he's starting to understand what Cid's vision is, as he wants to join his cause. Gav says they better hurry then and meet Cid because he's planning another event. So they make haste to the Hideaway.
Now, rats, lead me to your nest. Lord Kupka has a message for your leader. If only he knew where to send it.
Uh-oh, a Dhalmekian spy. This could spell trouble. When we get back to the Hideaway, we meet up with Cid to talk through everything we just went through.
We can keep running, or we can walk through this door.
Oh! Run! Run!
First, Clive details what he found out.
So, did you find the answers you were looking for?
I still don't know what to make of this gift, curse, or whatever it is I've been given. But there is one thing I can say for certain. I am a dominant. Ifrit. And there is nothing I can do to change that. It is a burden I must bear until my dying day.
Spoken true. Forgiveness and in turn salvation can only begin with acceptance.
And then...
Cid, you once told me that you wanted to build a place where people could die on their own terms.
I did.
I've been thinking about that. Why not a place where people can live on their own terms? For 13 years, killing was all I knew. So obsessed with death that I never stopped to consider the lives of those around me. Lives that I see now were scarcely worth living. Be they bearers or beggars, most march blindly to their end, never realizing that they too deserve a choice. And I dare not turn a blind eye to their suffering any longer.
So, atonement then, is it?
That was the answer we found.
The only one we need.
Clive has found a new resolve after facing his truth. Officially, Mr. This doesn't mean I'm joining has joined.
Well then, with a sprinkle of fire and ice, this plan of mine might just work.
What trouble are you looking to get yourself into now?
The best kind. We're going to sneak into the Imperial capital and pay a visit to Mother.
Just what is he up to? We finally get to see the holy capital of Sanbreque, Oriflamme. This is Dion's father, Emperor Lesage. The Blight is taking its toll on the Holy Empire as well, destroying crops and fertile lands. The Emperor's suggestion is to take over other lands unaffected by the Blight, aka an expansion of their kingdom through conquest. This would mean overstepping mutual agreements of peace with other countries, hence inciting war. This may sound crazy, but why don't we kick things up a notch with another crazy bit of news?
I must have misheard. You mean to tell me that the Mother Crystals are the reason the world is dying?
Wait. The Mother Crystals are what's causing the Blight? Explain this.
Alright, listen. Take this crystal. How does it allow us to conjure magics? Answer, by drawing ambient ether from the air. And where do these crystals come from?
That's easy. They're mined from the Mother Crystals.
They're one and the same. Although admittedly this here fits more easily in the pocket.
But the Mother Crystals are massive. Some as large as mountains.
So you see the problem. Imagine just how much ether can be drawn by something that size. As to where it's all going, mind, well, I can't know everything, can I?
Okay, this all makes sense, but this is still crazy.
For centuries, nations have fought and fallen for want of that gift. If what you say is true, how did no one else see it?
Who says they didn't? Maybe the truth was inconvenient.
Inconvenient to whom, exactly?
The higher-ups, the gods themselves.
So now you want to do something about the crystals? And what? We're not helping bearers and dominants anymore.
I didn't say that. I made a promise and I intend to keep it. But if we continue down this path, there's only one fate that awaits the realm. And we can't very well set our people free if they're all lying dead in a blighted ditch. Not if we want to create a place where they can live on their own terms anyway. Sort of defeats the purpose. So, if we have to bring the old world crashing down in order to build us a new one, what say you? Are you with me?
I suppose it's about time I repaid your faith.
You could have just said aye. But it's nice to have you aboard all the same.
That was quite a bombshell. The scope of Cid's plan just keeps getting bigger. But it makes sense. No point in saving a world full of nothing but dust and rocks. We stop by Karen's to stock up on some supplies. She tells us we should go talk to Otto, so let's go talk to him. He's apparently heard about the Emperor's plan to start a war. With the chaos that'll likely ensue, he suggests it'll be easier to sneak around Oriflamme and blend in. But it's getting there that's the problem. There's a checkpoint at a city called Northreach that everyone needs to go through to even get into the capital. Otto hands us something, saying it'll help us get through the checkpoint. Rather, it'll allow us to get an audience with someone named the Dame, and she'll be able to get us through Northreach. She's another friend of the cause, and from the sounds of it, she leaves quite the impression.
She's the proud proprietress of Northreach's foremost house of ill repute, the Vale. And she's quite a woman, if you know what I mean.
A woman. Right.
Don't go blinding her with your charm now, lad. I'll be expecting a full report when you get back.
I don't think Jill will like that very much. Before moving on, I wanted to bring up the Aliant Reports real quick. We can speak with this character, Gout, to find side quests we haven't done yet in Valisthea. And honestly, it's a great idea that is completely useless. For a few reasons. 1. we can already see on the map where there are open side quests available and fast travel there. 2. We still need to interact with the NPC to initiate the side quest anyways. So why bother going to him when we can just check the map anytime we want? It's like the developers were so scared that people would miss out on side quests that they just put the same feature everywhere so we just couldn't miss it. This feature would have been more useful if we could view available side quests and accept them from the same place. Narratively, it could make sense too. Cid's reputation gets bigger, and so people from all around Valisthea who know about him ask him for help. They can send requests via Stolas, and Gout keeps track of them. Then, when we accept a side quest, it gets marked on our map and put in the side quest tab. You could do away with all those nasty green icons everywhere. Wasted potential, but ultimately it doesn't change the way the final game functions, so whatever. When everyone's ready, we assemble in the main hall. To keep things more discreet, it'll be just us dominants going. This is also so we can fall back on our icons in case sneaking around doesn't work out. As to not attract more attention, the 3 are to arrive at different times.
I'll meet you in Northreach in a few days. You 2 behave now.
We'll see. These 2 haven't learned about the birds and the bees yet. Okay, Northreach. This means we need to cut through Lostwing. At this point, we get to listen to maybe my favorite area track in the game, outside the DLC. One thing I do wish we had is the option of turning off the battle music so we can listen to the area tracks uninterrupted.
No mistakes.
Kind of like the Nier games. What's sort of baffling is that the song only plays one time. Once it reaches the end, we're treated to just silence. That is, until we engage in a fight. Then the song starts back in. I'm not sure if this is a bug or if it was intentional. You can explore around if you feel like it, but there's scarcely anything to find. One indication that there's something worthwhile around the area is the appearance of these dragons. If you spot one, you're bound to find a chest nearby. But don't expect anything too good. Let's get back on track here though. We're here to meet the Dame. I guess this is her.
A moment, my lady.
A moment? I doubt you could afford even that much of my time. Branded.
My mistake.
No, mine. Upon reflection, you don't have the scent of a branded about you. The flowers. Otto always did know how to please me. More than Cid ever did anyway. Do you think you could please me, Clive?
Jill? She insists we call her Isabel, and she says she'll help us get inside for a favor. Her plan is to say Clive is her newly acquired branded bodyguard. We start making our way in when suddenly...
Oi, hold up. Another fucking branded. Well, you're lucky you're with the Dame. Get out of my sight, filth.
Phew. We made it inside without a hitch.
That wasn't so bad.
Wasn't so bad. They might have recognized me.
Okay, Diva, calm down. The plan worked. So, I guess we should go do that special favor for the dame. What'll it be, ma'am?
You, mentioned a favor.
I need you to find someone for me.
No. It's another quest where we go talk to people and gather clues to go look for someone. So we talk to this person to find out we need to talk to this person, and we go to this guy and take our findings to the dame. That takes us to this little town where we talk to this guy who sends us to this merchant, and finally we find the girl we're looking for. Or rather a pack of wolves. We're too late. We better go let the dame know what happened. When we meet her, she first tells us that Cid and Jill are waiting at a chapel nearby. We tell her the bad news. She gives us her thanks, and we're on our way to meet our dominant friends. This is the second time we've had to complete a quest like this, so I feel like I gotta bring this up. This sucks. I understand they're in the game for things like world building or lore, but it drags down the pace of the game so much. I bet Cid and Jill didn't have to go on some wild chase to track down someone, so why do we? Why couldn't we just get inside Northreach and go wait for them at the chapel? These storylines don't really have any bearing on the main plot, and I think they would have been better relegated to side quests. Because honestly, I really don't care. I'd rather I was getting on with the main story. So we travel up this hill to go meet our friends. There's apparently more soldiers than anticipated, so Cid has prepared a different route to the Mother Crystal. I guess it's not time to make our move yet, so the three of us wait at the Vale. Why didn't we just meet her in the first place? You good, Jill?
Cheer up, you two. Can't think of a safer place in the Empire than a... brothel.
Really? Doesn't seem very private.
Oh, lighten up. Okay, so this is Cid's plan.
How do we proceed?
We'll be using the glass gate. Tonight, just after sunset.
Where the shards are loaded for transport. That is one of the most heavily guarded points in all of Sambrec.
But not the most, which is a start. Besides, I know a shortcut straight to the heart.
A shortcut? And how exactly did you come to know about this fatal chink in the Empire's armor?
Let's just say I may have attempted something similar before. And may have ended up running for dear life after being discovered by Bahamut, but that's not important.
Jill has some thoughts, though.
Cid, if the Mother Crystals truly are the cause of the Blight...
If? You wound me, Jill.
What I'm trying to say is, if the powers that be know all of this, why do they sit idle and allow it to continue?
In case you haven't noticed, the God-fearing people of this realm and their pious leaders care for but one thing, themselves. And they'll do whatever it takes to hold on to power. The rest of us are just a means to an end. The moment you raise your voice against them, you're decried as an outlaw, clapped in irons and slung in a cell to rot.
An outlaw.
Whoever controls the crystals controls the realm. But our kind can wield magic without them. To our rulers, we must seem the most convenient of tools, and the most dangerous.
Cid's point is that the rulers around Valisthea simply don't care whether or not the Mother Crystals are draining the life around it or not. As long as they can reap the benefits, they'll use whatever and whomever to keep themselves in power, and they simply won't listen to words.
So to hell with talking. If they won't give us a say, we'll decide our fates another way. You can't blame a man for wanting to bring an end to all this, can you?
Clive chimes in with another question.
I can't. But what of all the people you mean to rob of their comforts? Are you happy for them to call you outlaw?
Cid the outlaw. Aye, that'll do me.
You might at least pretend to take this seriously.
Have a little faith, Jill. Even if you don't think much of my choice of digs. If it means my deeds will be remembered, I'll gladly play the role of villain.
The man's got all his thoughts in order.
But first, we have a gate to crash. And once we're in, there'll be no turning back.
And Cid means it. This is a point of no return. Once you enter the Holy Capital, it means you'll lose access to a handful of side quests. 12 to be exact, and some of them are actually quite good, content-wise. So why don't we take a moment to talk about side quests? I mentioned this before, but side quests in Final Fantasy XVI are mechanically about as interesting as sharpening a pencil or clipping your nails. It's the same kind of activities for nearly each one. You talk to someone, then they need you to go either talk to someone else, go pick something up, or go kill something. For me, the NPCs were not memorable in the slightest, so I didn't really care about talking with them. Hardly any of them ever say anything interesting.
These birds are needy creatures. They don't like me running after the fat chocobo behind their backs.
I want no trouble. Wait, that's... Oh, glory to Griga! You were the hanged man!
The way my gut's been growling, I'd have curls running scared.
Guard duty down here can't be much fun.
It's not.
The fights are never challenging, since 9 times out of 10, you encounter weak mob enemies. You hardly face any unique enemies or bosses, so these fights are honestly really unengaging. As for finding things, you never really have to actually look for anything, because the game points you exactly where you need to go to interact with something. There's no sense of discovery or real accomplishment. Side quests are so near to automation that it leaves me feeling like, why bother making us go through the motions? Just show everything via a cutscene to cut down on time. It gives you a false sense of actually doing anything because you get to control Clive. But the reality is that you don't need to use any critical thought in actually completing a side quest, and it's an on-the-rails experience. My mind was on autopilot most of the time I was going through them, and I was pretty checked out. Just follow the green icons and you're golden. Now, content-wise, it's a little different. It's honestly a mixed bag. The game tries to add more flavor around bearers and how they fit into the world of Valisthea, but they sort of drive the same points home straight into the ground. By the 5th time I saw a side quest where a bearer was being mistreated, or the game was making commentary about how hard bearers have it, I had a glazed look in my eyes and I stopped paying attention. Yes, I get it. People are evil. They attack what they don't understand or perceive as different. I don't mean to be cold-hearted, but I just don't have a connection with these NPCs that I spend like 2 minutes talking to and moving on. There are some great details like how this bear is starting to be afflicted with the curse, so parts of their body is turning to stone. But there's gotta be more to the world of Valisthea. Memorable characters outside our main heroes. Character moments that we get to learn about through side quests. Or even wacky, out-of-place stories and scenarios to lighten up the mood. But we don't get any of that. It's always just bearers, bearers, bearers. It's the same stuff over and over again, doing the same things. So, blah, not really a huge fan of the side quests. Now, some of them do a really great job of conveying this in a darker, more mature tone. A few callouts are the side quests, Playthings, and All Bark. In the Playthings side quest, a little girl is looking for Chloe.
Describe her to me.
She's beautiful white hair. She lets me stroke her when I'm sad.
Based on her description, we assume it to be a pet. We decide to help her by asking around the area. When we find her, she's barking at something. No, wait. Chloe is supposed to have all white hair. Maybe this person knows. Hold up.
The crystal's curse.
Chloe, I was calling you. Didn't you hear me?
What?
Chloe? Why did you already turn into a rock? I only made you do a bit of magic.
Holy Shiva, that's messed up.
None of the other Chloes had pretty hair. It could be months before Dad gives me another one.
We give the girl a good scolding for treating human life so poorly.
Is that all she was to you? A plaything? Do you really not care that she's dead?
She's not dead. She's a rock.
That? The crystal's curse? That's just how she died. And now she's gone forever. Giving another bearer her name won't change that.
No, don't say that.
You became Chloe's family when you took her in. Remember that. And remember her.
The other noteworthy side quest is Allbark. Here, a nobleman calls us over, noticing our brand. He snaps at us for being late and tells us his son is being attacked by a wild beast. We agree to help him and go looking for his son and the beast. Clive, being a beast himself, disposes of the wolf immediately. But the son isn't grateful. He's upset, saying we're supposed to die. It turns out this father and son have been bullying and killing bears for sport and entertainment. They messed with the wrong bear this time. They order another wild beast to continue their games, but I guess it just turns on them and they get their just desserts. One thing I wanted to call out is that the quality of animations is noticeably much lower for NPCs. I mean, the voice acting and facial expressions, they don't match at all.
The gall to return, head held high. That wolf was trained. Better trained by far than your worthless kind. Lies! Do you think I cannot see that brand on your face? How dare you threaten us? How dare you?
I honestly just laughed. When people say the side quests in Final Fantasy XVI are actually good, it's likely those people are including side quests like these. But there are so few side quests like this. No gut punches or unexpected dark turns like the Playthings side quest. Their execution is boring, and more often than not, the content is like reading a textbook. Helpful in setting the context and getting information, but nothing that really stands out or is entertaining. Another thing I want to call out is when the game pits us up against regular-ass people. I mean, Clive is a demigod for crying out loud. In this side quest, we fight against 2 Imperial soldiers. Who thought this would be fun for anyone? There's no challenge whatsoever, and the payoff of a bearer one-upping someone who was oppressing them is pretty weak. I don't feel good about kicking around a bunch of insecure men like a sack of soccer balls. Last thing I'll bring up is how inorganic most side quests feel. You can never just come across a scenario in the wild. The only way to go through a side quest scenario is to trigger it into existence by talking to the NPC that it's linked with. For example, going through the vineyards for a nice stroll? Peace and tranquility, if you're just here normally. You talk to some NPCs? Bees everywhere. And then there's soil that must be picked up, missing items to find, and a dirty-ass letter you have to get from a dog. This makes exploration pointless because the game creates areas for these side quests to play out. Once the side quest is over, you never have to visit these areas again because they just go back to being empty. Aside from the 2 I mentioned, there are maybe like 3 to 4 more side quests in the endgame where the quality is so good, I wish the game had more side quests. The game has 76 side quests though. 6 out of 76 is not a good ratio. Someone needed to tell the developers quality over quantity. Before moving on, I also wanted to talk about the exploration and interactivity in Final Fantasy XVI. It is sorely disappointing. There's no reward for curiosity. You can look around all you want, but you'll never find anything worthwhile. Even when you do find the occasional chest, it's usually just crafting materials that you're probably not even keeping track of. The feeling of the open world is just an illusion because there's nothing to do in it. Fighting weaker mob enemies is a chore and there's no incentive to do so I just go around them or run from fights. They have this gorgeous world for us to sink into, but nothing to do in it. And as I've discussed, side quests are a weak way for us to engage with the world because they're driven by linear events and triggers for when we can even do them. Once you complete them, the world goes back to being void of any meaningful interactions. I wish there was more stuff to do at locations like the Vale. They sort of hype it up when talking about it, but you can't even do anything there. Like, imagine if you could do God of War style mini-games. You earn brownie points with the game, so you can get access to special accessories that affect your stats, weapons, or icons in some ways. Okay, maybe not that exactly, but I just mean give us something to do at these places instead of walking around looking for boring side quests. They're all here for setting, but have no purpose gameplay-wise. This makes towns feel like fluff, because you can go around and explore, but the only point of interest you will ever come across is a store. And each store is practically the same. Yeah, they sell unique orchestration rolls and accessories, but these do hardly anything to change up gameplay. Oh, don't worry. I'll be going over weapons and accessories in a later section as well. Well, I've complained enough. Let's get back to the story. I think we're ready. Here we go. When we arrive at the Shard transport area, it's nightfall. Things are looking good as there are fewer guards than expected. Clive remarks that this plan could actually work, to which Cid takes a slight offense.
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
Only that your last secret shortcut was nowhere near as secret as you claimed.
Yeah, but that's half the fun of it. Life's too short for perfect plans. You want a plan that'll keep you on your toes, stop you growing old and complacent.
Worked for you, has it?
Clive, my boy, even life's smallest challenges offer the opportunity to grow and to change. You must embrace these moments. Allow them to suffuse your heart with a deep sense of fulfillment.
Narrowly escaping death at the hands of an enemy is not my idea of fulfillment.
So the plan is to get to the heart of the Mother Crystal. Clive has one last question though.
And if the passage to the inner sanctum is guarded?
Then we embrace the moment and use it to grow and change.
Okay, let's do this. We enter through this passage and sneak our way through. As far as we can, anyways.
This passage used to be secret.
Of course it did.
Done and dusted.
They never stood a chance.
Along our way, we face off against this big guy. Something interesting happens during this fight. Right as we're about to kill him, he goes Super Saiyan Blue.
He's got a Kashyyyk.
Poor wretch.
Save your pity. You'll get none in return. There's nothing left of him but hatred and rage.
He's gone what the game calls a Kashyyyk. Essentially what happened is his body absorbed too much ether and he went mad. The cause of this is something called an ether flood. You can see swirls of blue magic in the air that indicate one is active. I guess these are areas of high ether concentration, so anyone that's not a dominant is prone to going Akashic. Our friends here apparently have a much higher tolerance because of their iconic blessing. Eventually, we get to the inner sanctum where the Mother Crystal is.
I knew it would be big. But this...
As we continue towards it, we see the same enemies as we did at Phoenix Gate. Clive and Jill wonder if they're somehow connected. We can see the gates, but everyone knows it's not going to be as easy as just waltzing in. There's a guardian protecting the crystal, and it's none other than a dragon, a Kashyyyk at that. But what's one dragon against 3 dominants? Nothing but dust. Just a few steps away from the crystal now. We finally make it to the center of the Mother Crystal. Let's sit back and enjoy.
It's beautiful.
Well, that didn't work. That's more like it.
And just like that, the downfall of Sambrek has been put into motion. What the hell?
Oh no!
Shit, it's Samara from the Ring! And damn, she's been hitting the gym. Clive tries to summon Ifrit, but is hit with a massive head pain. Jill just stands there watching. Ramuh is back up though, and repels the monster. But it looks like a part of Clive was taken along with it.
Where the hell am I?
Seriously, that thing is so creepy! I guess she finally got rid of the well. Naturally, we have to fight this thing called Typhon. It starts with us having to dispose of some mob enemies while avoiding suppressing fire from Typhon. This part is pretty fun because having to dodge all of Typhon's attacks while fighting enemies feels a bit like you're playing a bullet hell game, kinda like Returnal. Eventually, it removes Ramuh's staff from its chest, and we'll have to take it on directly. Ifrit is back, baby!
I remember now. I had a fire.
Hell yeah! It's similar to the Garuda Fight, but this time we have more freedom in movement, now able to move around a full 360 degrees. Our moveset is a little more robust as well. It literally plays like when we're Clive in terms of mechanically. Yeah, that's right. Go back to being a grudge knockoff. Aw, come on.
Oh, fuck.
It absorbs all the other Typhons to transform into its ultimate form, which honestly looks so rad. The electronic soundtrack here sounds somewhat jarring from the rest of the music we've heard so far, but I dig it. We're in an alternate dimension. I get it. It's a fun fight that will really test your movement as Ifrit. You'll need to be swift on your feet and find openings to attack. Once we defeat Typhon's true form, we hear more from the voice. It says that we're a suitable vessel. The hell is it on about? We awake back with the others. Uh-oh. Cid's not looking good.
Well, enjoy your nap.
Who the hell?
I know who you are. And if you think I'm gonna let you have him, think again. One left. That'll do me. Clive. For so long, I thought I had all the answers. But then I met you. And I learned it wasn't a good death we should be fighting for, but a better life. It's all very well a man reclaiming his fate. But if he can't choose how he meets it, what's the point? So, I made a choice. Crystal's blessing is a prison, Clive. And if it's an outlaw the world needs to help it break free. Stop. Please. I can think of none better than you.
In ashen grip, let ember glow, to kindle flames anew.
What? Joshua?
Do you remember me, boy?
Oh, Torgal remembers him.
I know you're there. Ultima.
You have learned our name.
So, his name is Ultima.
What else have you learned, Phoenix?
I'm just gonna let the scene play out.
My travels have revealed much about you and your ambitions. I know that it was you who tore me from my brother. And I know that it is his power that you seek. But know this. If you want him, you'll have to go through me.
Very well.
Songs of suffering.
A disturbance.
We'll leave. My brother! This is getting us nowhere.
We agree. No more games, Phoenix. We have come to claim our vessel.
And I said no.
These flames are nothing. You will know what it is to burn.
Yours is a fleeting form. I'm not fool enough to think I can harm you. But to protect my brother, I don't have to.
These are not flames of destruction.
Have you forgotten already who I am? Just try and get to my brother now. Fiend.
Jesus, what a cutscene, am I right? There is a lot to unpack here. Let's quickly recap. There's this being called Ultima. It wants to claim Clive as his vessel. I guess it's for his ability to absorb eikons. And Joshua has been trying to stop him this whole time. He absorbs him, or something, and saves Clive, Jill, and Torgal. And now Cid, along with Sambrek's mother crystal, is gone. We cut to the hideaway, and oh snap, we've been discovered by Kuka's men.
No survivors! You heard me! We must be here. Must! Cannot fail Lord Kuka again! Find Cid! Or we're all fucking dead!
About that.
You'll do! Bastard!
Cid is not among the dead. Shall I send a Stolas?
What was that? Oh, shit. Oh, man. In one night, everything's fallen apart. Bears just can't catch a break in this world, can they? Now, I'm gonna end the video here for now, as the game's story is just too big to cover in one sitting. And I have to talk about the DLC too. So, join me next time to find out what happened to Clive, Jill, Torgal, and the Bears in Final Fantasy XVI.